Hello, hello, hello. This is the one thing that I was hoping wouldn't happen. The camera's blurry. Yes, I know. I am having a real technical issue on that, and I need to move around in order to get it back in focus. And then this really is what I was worried about. I've already been on the phone with Apple Care twice. Of course, there is no solution. They didn't give me a solution. So, good morning. The tech gods have not shown pleasure on me this morning. This is not the only thing that has gone wrong, and I have to remember to stay perfectly still. That being said, that's not your problem. That's my problem. I don't know if you want to know too much about this journey I'm going on with these live streams, but maybe you do. You can raise your hands if you want to do it, or just say, "Shut up, Ramona," and go on. We don't care about your tech problems. You're supposed to be the tech girl. Well, let me let you in on a little secret. Even techies get in tech hell, and there are layers of tech hell. We generally marinate down at the bottom of tech hell. That's where I am. There's no getting out. I'm hoping to at least get up to limbo sometime soon, but that being said, I'm just going to keep on going. So, we're going to talk about Canva and Storybrand. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Canva, if not using it almost every day. Storybrand may be something new to you, but everything that's new is old again, right? Or everything's old that's new again. You'll be quite familiar with it when we get to that point. So, let's see if my slides work, right? Okay, so we're going to find a way to create landing pages and websites in minutes, not days. That's what the Canva websites with the Storybrand framework layered over them is going to help you to do. I am going to also stop every once in a while and let you know that I am looking at 2 iPads so that I can see the chat, and they lag. If you don't want to hear about this, let me know in the comments, because I can't be the only person that has these foibles as we go. So the goal today is you're walking away with a fully functional landing page ready to start attracting your ideal audience. Now, let's get one thing clear. I am going to use this I'm going to create a workshop. I think I told you in my email, I'm, doing the Amy Porterfield thing again. And I am trying to get a workshop going. And this is kind of a trial run. But I do need to fledge this out. I need to verify it. I need to figure out and hear from my ideal clients if this is something they really want. So this is a run through. This is actually the first time I've gone through and demoed Canva and Storybrand. But keep in mind that this has the potential to become a fully fledged workshop someday. So, like I say, our goal, the why, is because sharing your brilliance should be simple, not rocket science. And there I am again. So we're going to go through what you're going to need. Now, you're not going to have all this. This is just a walkthrough. But in my workshop, you would need the Storybrand workbook, which I am going to put in the chat, and I am going to display that in a moment. There's a couple of ways you can get the Storybrand workbook that I'm going to distribute. You also will need a Canva account, free or pro. Free is great, but pro gives you a lot more options. I'm going to give you a Canva Storybrand template that you can use. You can duplicate and customize it to your heart's content. And finally, I want you to be ready to launch. So here is the workbook that I'm going to give you. It is at inspiredcreatives.studio/website-copy-generator. And we're going to keep going. So let's break it down. Oh, I'm having fun this morning. So what is Storybrand? You probably know. I think you've heard of it because it's pretty popular. And why are we going to use Canva? And we're going to get to setting up Canva, which is easy peasy. And then we're going to layer the Storybrand framework over a Canva template. So why Storybrand? Now, I'm not going to go through this as I would in a workshop, but I want to give you a little bit of backstory. So back in 1949, there was this guy named Joseph Campbell. He was an American writer, professor, and scholar, and he specialized in comparative mythology and religion. What he found, he also hung out with the likes of Carl Jung and John Steinbeck and maybe rubbed shoulders with Einstein. He was back there and you know, let's just say the man may have had a lot of gray matter in his head, right? So he studied mythology and religion through the ages, and he found that there was a common pattern in stories. Worldwide, no matter, you know, throughout millennia, it's the same story. And you're going to be familiar with the story once you hear it. And you're going to be like, oh my God, now every time I see a movie or read a book, I'm going to think of the hero's journey. Sorry, but we're going to adapt it to marketing. Maybe you can get it out of your head for storytelling. But the hero's journey is a hero faces challenges and achieves victory or transformation. Joseph Campbell believes that all stories are based on this simple truth. He even created a book. He wrote a book called The Hero with 1,000 Faces, and he codified the hero's journey. I think he was the first one that used that, and then he made this really complicated looking graph here. It is a circle. What it entails is, I'm not going to go through this one, but it's got an act 1, an act 2, and an act 3. Sounds like a play or a movie or a book, right? And basically, if you want to look at that, the hero leaves. He has some challenges, and he's up against, a lot of dangers. He meets mentors and guides who help him on his journey, and ultimately, he gets back home. He is enlightened and empowered, and he can help his community. So that's the big, ugly Joseph Campbell slide. But basically, what you got, just like what I said, the milestones are: the hero leaves their home, they face challenges and gain wisdom, they go back home, transformed and enlightened and able to contribute and help their community. So, fun fact, a guy named George Lucas wrote this screenplay, or whatever they call it, did this movie called Star Wars. Never saw it, not interested, but I hear it was great. He was a student of Joseph Campbell's, and he said one night he's got 500 pages strewn across the floor, and he realized, oh, I'm telling the hero's journey, so let me tighten this up, and hence you have Star Wars. And this is the distilled version of the hero's journey. So Luke had a problem. So he had an external problem, an internal problem, a philosophical problem. He had to defeat the Empire. Is he a Jedi? And the philosophical, this is a thing about good versus evil. Again, I've never seen this. So he meets a guy named Yoda. And in some of these graphs, it says that he meets Obi-Wan Kenobi. Again, I do not know this movie, but I think it's an Obi-Wan somebody or other. But this one says he met Yoda, so Yoda's the guide. Yoda lived as a Jedi. Yoda gives him a plan. Trust the Force. Now, I feel that probably, is that all that he was supposed to do? I don't know the movie, but trust the Force. Maybe that's when he got the lightsaber. I don't know. That part I know because my son had one. And Yoda tells him he's got to go defeat the Empire. Following Yoda's plan, which seems like it's a lot of trust, Luke is going to end up either in success where he defeats the Death Star, or if he fails, doesn't follow Yoda's plan, or, doesn't have enough trust, the rebellion is crushed. Sounds very fatal. So that is the hero's journey in real life. So then what we are going to be dealing with is something called Storybrand. And I am going to give this disclaimer straight away because I don't want Mr. Miller coming after me. Today, I'm going to show you a bit about what I've learned from Donald Miller's books, Building a Story Brand, and his online videos. I believe in his Storybrand framework, and I believe it can help you with your website and landing page conversions. I am not, however, a Storybrand certified expert. If you want to dive deeper into Donald Miller's Storybrand framework, you can do so here at storybrand.com. So, hopefully, Mr. Miller, you are appeased with that disclaimer. And this is the Storybrand framework. Now, a little backstory on Donald Miller. Even before he wrote the marketing books, I do believe he may have been a screenwriter. Maybe he worked I may be talking out of school, but he seems to have a deep understanding of like screenwriting and such. And I know that he wrote different books other than the marketing books that he is famous for. But he looked at the hero's journal, and said, well, this can be adapted to marketing. So his map goes, a character who is your customer has a problem, and they meet a guide. You're the guide. If you don't take anything else away from this little demonstration, you're the guide. You're not the hero. The customer is always the hero. Okay? Flip that around, because too many businesses are talking about themselves. They're talking all about how they're the expert and how they can solve your problem, but they don't take into consideration that the hero is the customer, and you have to treat them as such. So you, as the guide, give the hero a plan. And hopefully that it's going to be a simple plan. You don't give him anything. You don't tell him everything. We're talking about websites and marketing collateral. You give them a plan, and you call them to action. For some reason, heroes just need a little push. Must be that inertia thing, but you always have to call them to action to, stir them up. And that implementing that plan is either going to end in success, or if the plan is not implemented properly or just ignored, you're going to have failure. So that's what Donald Miller says. Okay? And I have yet another tech problem, but let's hope we can get through it. I don't even know. Okay. That's all right. I'm just going to keep on going. Okay, so why use Canva? Canva is just dead simple. That's why we're going to use Canva. This is an example of a Canva landing page that I used for my lead magnet. If you can see, looks good, looks good. Even made this little graphic there in Canva, and got the fully functioning buttons here. This is a Flowdesk opt-in form. Works seamlessly. You can't tell that it, went off to another website unless you looked at the URL, which people really don't use. And then we circle back to Canva and we give them a beautiful thank you page. So that's Canva. Okay, we're going to set up Canva. Okay, so we're going to go over to Canva now, and hopefully you are familiar with Canva a little bit, because I'm not going to go into how to use Canva. There are tons and tons of videos on YouTube about using Canva, and Canva has a wealth of user docs that will help you out, and they have videos as well. So here we go. Now here is an example. I showed you my example. Here's an example of a Storybrand layered landing page. You could use this as a one-page website, and it's pretty beautiful. I mean, come on. This is created in Canva. And here is the gist of that graph I showed you of Donald Miller's. We got the hero. This is the hero section. We got the aspirations, what your clients want to become. Everybody wants to become something. You kind of agitate their problems. There's always a little agitation going on. And I'm not going to flip back and forth because you're going to get whiplash. You're the guide, understand. You give them a plan, success, and you always make them understand what the stakes are. There has to be some type of high stakes. If they don't follow your plan, what is the result? The result is always going to be kind of bad, So what is nice about these templates, I've created them with the Storybrand framework overlaid, so that once you get the template, all you got to do is think about your company, think about what your offer is, think about who your ideal customer avatar, ICA, who's your customer, who's your ideal audience. I hope that you've got to have spent some time really figuring out who you want to target, who you want your ideal customer or client to be. You have to know them inside and out. So I'm using the word client, interchangeably with customer, simply because a lot of my people would be my clients. So you want to help your clients achieve their goals. And in this template, you've even got the nice little insert what you do. Your clients want, what do they want? Well, insert what they want. I'm going to use kind of a really stupid one. I have a client, my client wants their house painted. Okay, they need their house painted. We help them get it without what kind of pain? Without a broken back because you tried to do it yourself and you fell off the ladder, in possibly good price, plain English contract, things like that. What pain goes along with painting a house, and what are you going to help them avoid? So who your clients always want to become someone. Everybody's aspirational. I mean, it's just natural, we want to look better. We want to feel better. We want to be a better person. We're always aspiring. It's just human nature. Your clients don't just want your product or service. They want to become someone better. Describe the identity they aspire to have. You don't have to have 3 identities, maybe because you're painting that, you're getting that contract for the house painting. What they really, aspire to be is to be a well-respected person on their block, and maybe they want to become the envy of everyone on the block. Maybe they're gonna, they just, they want to be better. Do they want to be better they want their house to look better, right? Since we're using the house analogy. Okay, the problems that your clients are going to face, there's always, as I showed on the graph, there's an external problem, an internal problem, and a philosophical problem. And we don't always think about this. So you need your house painted, right? What's the external problem? I absolutely need my house painted. The paint is chipping off my house. It's horrible. It looks horrible. But there's also an internal problem. What is the emotional or internal struggle that this brings on for your customer? Well, the internal struggle is self-esteem, because people are probably talking about how bad your house looks. All your neighbors are kind of walking by, they're snickering, they're whispering. You see it. That's the internal problem. It makes you feel bad. What's the philosophical problem? What's the larger why behind this? Well, what's at stake in the grand scheme of things? Because you want your house painted, why do I always have to get this house painted? Why doesn't the paint just stay on? I don't know, buy a brick house? I don't know. There is some paint I see advertised. They say it lasts forever. Neither here nor there. So now you want to tell your client that you understand what their challenges is. Everybody wants to know. They want someone that understands them. They want to know that you've been where they are. So we've helped. This is just like credibility, authority, trust. We've helped X number of customers overcome the same challenges you're facing. We understand how painful, frustrating, difficult it can be. So this is just a fill in the blanks. You're going to have to think about this, because you're going to, this is your marketing collateral. Add a client testimony. Testimonials, the authority section of your website or landing page, you have to prove that you can solve their problem. That can be done with testimonials, use cases. People love use cases. They see themselves in somebody else's problem that was solved. And depending on what kind of industry, a painter, they might list that they painted the Presbyterian church down the street, and then they painted City Hall. I don't know. Or even more pertinent, I guess, with house painting, they could say they painted the house at 1022 Mulford Road. They painted your neighbors. That would be real good, because you might be jealous of your neighbors. Also, show some social proof. Probably wouldn't work for a house painter so much unless they did have, those big things like the Presbyterian church down the street. Again, here's the section for your testimonials, and you're going to give them a simple plan for success. When you're talking about a website or marketing, you're not going to tell them every little thing. They don't need at this point to know every little thing. Just give them 3 steps, at most 4. Donald Miller is famous for saying, if you confuse, you lose. So, and you know that. If you go to, it used to be Baskin Robbins, we have Jenny's ice cream now, but there's so many choices. Basically, you're generally good. Chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. Those choices you can make a choice very quickly. When you go into some place like Jenny's or Baskin Robbins, I think they're out of business by now. There's way too many choices. So on your website, 3, at most 4. A guarantee. Always ask, give a guarantee, whether it's, 30 days money, 30-day money back guarantee, or it doesn't have to be monetary. It doesn't have to be, time framed. It can be, we guarantee the quality of the paint. We guarantee that this paint job is going to last you 20 years. So, yes, it's blurry again. Okay, is it? Okay, it's blurry again. I see somebody say that. Hello, Cindy. I appreciate you coming here, and I appreciate you letting me know that possibly my slides are blurry, because if that is the case, I have another problem to solve. So let me know, are the slides blurry? Because I was just talking about that in the eCam ELA Live Academy. So let me know, Cindy, are they, let me know if the slides are blurry too. So I'm going to go on with that. But hey, Cindy is watching. Hopefully she's still here. And let me see. So we are, okay, so we're going down the guarantee, encouraging them to take the next step. You always want them to call to action. Remember, the hero, they need something to get them going. So just simply tell them what to do. Click this button. Don't say learn more, or subscribe or whatever, but call them to action. Get your quote now, going back to the paint job. So you definitely want them to say, what does success look like? Just let them know. Describe in detail what your client's life or business will look like. Oh gosh, wouldn't you want to be the envy of your neighbors? You could really lay it on here, especially if you were a painter. I don't know. They just be the envy of your neighbors. We all know what neighborhoods are like. So I'm not going to say anymore. So, and don't let this happen. You surely don't want to be, if you don't, accept the quote, if you don't follow, the plan that we've set out, well, that internal problem of feeling pretty darn bad is just going to keep haunting you. So there you have it. And that's the stakes. What is at stake? And even with a house painting, let's see, what else could be at stake? I don't know if the paint is chipping and maybe the wood is rotten. I mean, maybe this is really old house. You might get squirrels in it. I don't know. But it needs tending to. That's for really old houses. This is 100-year-old house. So ready to get started. This is always, again, the call to action on a website or landing page. And this is just your footer. Some people call that the junk drawer. Of course, it's just copy text there. Nothing to see there. So that's one. Completely made in Canva. Here's another one. Beautiful. I mean, these are beautiful. You can find some beautiful website templates in Canva. You get a little animation going on. So let me see. Now we're going to get into the back end of Canva. How's our time going? Okay, we're pretty good. I'm going to wrap up around 11:45. I do think that 45 minutes is pretty good on a Saturday morning. I'm just going to go back on camera. I'm going to get out of... Okay, I know where I'm going to... I was going to say I'm going to get my slides out of order, but okay, because I am curious. Cindy, if you're still there, is this slide... This is not a slide. Is this camera still blurry? See, from my end, it's not blurry. And guess what? I can see comments on YouTube, but evidently there must be a secret to seeing them on Facebook. This first time, hey, I just, it's an sidebar. This first time I went over to Facebook. I don't know. I'm just a little, I don't know if I want to go on Facebook. I don't know anybody on YouTube, so it's easy to go out on YouTube. I don't think it's much easier. I do know people. I do know some people on Facebook. So, it's that normal, do I want to look stupid, in front of my friends? I don't have that many friends, friends and family, don't hang out on Facebook, but there are a couple. And, you just have that feeling, do I really want to do this? So I did push the button for Facebook. I did push the button for Facebook last week, but guess what? It went out to only me. I had it set for only me private. So this week I did make sure it's public. So that is that. Just looking at some things. Okay, let's get back to Canva. So now you see how you can just layer that Storybrand framework over these templates. And I'm going to show you how easy it is. So we're over here. Make this a little bit bigger. 7, yeah, that's close enough. It's just so easy. I want to change it. I want to change an image. Let's change an image here. We got all this stuff. We got a photo. Let's change this image right here. You've got photos. You've got a huge amount of they do have videos in here too. Stock photos. I'm not sure where they're getting them from. I know they have POC, people of color stock. They have that one, which I use a lot. But yeah, let's use this one. Whoops, I'm gonna do it this way. Hold on. I'm going to let you know that the camera says it's down to 10%. And why it's saying that, because it's plugged in. But anyway, watch this. Bam. I just changed that. I'm going to change the color on this blue, the accent blue. So I'm going to go here. And I'm going to go to my color up here. See this tab up here. Like I say, I'm not going to go through each little piece and part of Canva, because there's some beautiful tutorials out there already. I want to change that. Let's change it to this color. Look at this. Change all. Do I want to change it everywhere? I like that. I don't have to go through and change every place where this accent color is used. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's see what it did. That's not bad. I don't mind that. Sure. Depending. I could use that, but I can live with it. I can live with that. Live with that. Like I say, I don't know about living with that frame there. But let's see what else we could change. This color. Let's make this a little lighter. Probably not going to look good, but yeah. Well then, okay, now you realize that I lightened the background. Let me get this text. Go up here with that little rainbow down underneath the A, text color. Let's give that a pretty dark color now. And again, change all. So you're going to change all the text, and it's not going to work for everything, but change everything. Now you're going to have some dark places on here that are going to have. Okay, that worked out pretty good. I thought it was going to change some of these, but it didn't. So that is pretty good. And you can just keep on going. Change every little piece of this, no matter how you want. You go up here, you can preview it. Looking good, doesn't it? Okay. Well, I want to publish it now. It's going to take a minute to publish. Now, you're going to get a funky URL. You know what you're going to give to your people, and share the URL, the address. I do have my domain name is over here. I've got that mapped, but it still gives you what I consider a funky inspired creatives.mycanva.site. You know what? I misspoke. This is Canva's name if you don't change it too much. But if you bring your domain over here, that's my domain. c.inspiredcreatives.studio. That's one of my subdomains. So I'm not going to change that, but I could. I'm going to leave it there right now. This is copied. Just publish it. Okay. This trackpad is so sensitive. Okay. Preparing your design couldn't be easier. Couldn't be easier. You even got a little saying by Confucius. Okay. They do give you the mobile. And I will say this, I was had a little bit of displeasure with Canva in their mobile versions. I was like, ooh. But I think they have quietly improved their mobile versions, because before, and I don't expect a lot of you to understand this, when you get to the mobile, when you get to your phone, things start stacking, like this, the picture and the heading would be stacked on mobile, and they're doing a pretty good job. So this is your website. This is a finished website. You can use that. I'm just going to play it. Let me see what it looks like if I change. I don't think we have time. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that. Publish. Republish. Okay, I missed it. I saw that. I didn't change it. Anyway, you can have your own domain or subdomain if you want to use this as your main website. And changing domains and creating subdomains is an hour-long demo in and of itself. So, are there any questions? Let's get to some questions. I'm going to give you this, I'm going to give you a template. I am going to, if you got people down here, okay. I got to get in the chat somehow. Okay, I'm talking to myself. And once again, this is a bit of a conundrum for me. I want to share a URL. I want to share a link with you. And I'm not going to worry about it that, I'm not doing this so properly, because I'm just glad that I got through it this morning. And, I think that, I'm going to try and get better. But here's what I'm trying to build on. So last week, I demoed Flowdesk. Flowdesk is an email service provider. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Let me just I'm gonna run over there for you. Sorry, okay, you can see me, you can see what I'm doing, but that's okay. I'm gonna just stay here. Let's go to Flowdesk. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, and this is not a affiliate thing, because I don't have any affiliate links down in the bottom, but until November 28th, Flowdesk has unlimited subscribers, unlimited email. They have unlimited everything. Well, that's going away November 28th. I grabbed the deal because unlimited is unlimited, and they have promised that those people that get grandfathered in won't go to the tiered system that they'll be rolling out. It's a shame, because that was one of their main marketing points. That was their selling point, that they had unlimited everything. I guess they grew too fast, and they might have, some people may have 100,000 subscribers on their list, so that's going to be pretty bad, right? That's a lot of money for them. But these are beautiful. It is so intuitive. I just fell in love with it. I really did. And I slept on it for a while because I thought it was only beautiful. And now I realize that it is very powerful. If you're starting out, I'd jump on that. Be optimistic. You're going to grow your list. You're going to get over 500 real quickly. The limits on MailChimp, Kit. Does Kajabi have? I don't think Kajabi has limits, because you're paying too much for them. But there's limits. Keep is another one. The tiers are usually 500, then you go up to 1,000, but you're paying the more subscribers you get. So grab this. It's Flowdesk, FLODESK.com. I would go ahead and grab it and just enjoy having the unlimited emails and subscribers. So, folks, that's one thing. I should have put a affiliate link. I gotta get better. But if you're coming along for the ride, and maybe you next stop, you're gonna get off. Next stop is your stop. So, but that's okay. But this is it's new to me. I haven't done it consistently, and I'm prepared for foibles and things to go wrong. That seems to be the norm for doing lives. Everybody says, everybody wants an authentic, but I think there's a fine line. You got to be halfway professional. You have to know what you're doing. But when you're doing lives, yeah, things are going to go wrong. This is probably the only thing one of the first things I've ever come across where no matter how much, and this probably would, I probably shouldn't say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. It really is the only thing that you can be as prepared as possible, and something will go wrong. Simply like I started at 9 o'clock preparing just to get the cameras, everything set up, everything was working. And now I realize that I ain't got no juice on my camera. And it's plugged in. Unless I unplugged it. That could be the case. Things happen, right? But the computer is telling me it's got 5%. So, and it works out because I guess it's just going to die. It's not. I will also let you know, this is an iPhone. I don't know if people, maybe you can tell, maybe you can't, but I'm using an iPhone for this, and I have upgraded. I went from an iPhone SE that worked fine. It's not. I have that now to use my Stream Deck, but I'm still using a iPhone. And other than the recent blurriness that's been caused, and somehow I'll uncover it, it works for me. I know a lot of people really get hung up on, they've got to have these fancy cameras, and these fancy cameras cost like $600 to $800. I don't know, with tariffs they might be even more, because we ain't making no cameras here. I may be speaking out of turn, but I don't think we making any. I know that Sony and Canon, who else is out there, Olympus and whatnot and what have you. But my feeling is, if I'm not making any money, why would I spend that much money on a camera that's going to sit over there and it's never going to take beautiful pictures? I don't know. I don't see it. The iPhone has worked for me, and that's just a little bit of encouragement that if you think you're on the sidelines because you don't have the equipment, you probably have the equipment right in front of you. And I know there's a lot of people out there that talk about the lighting and the mic. I know they talk about, but all that stuff is super expensive, and you need to start somewhere. And people say, well, the microphone is the most important thing. Other people say the lighting is the most important thing. I think getting started is the most important thing. If I just have 2 seconds here, I'm going to turn around because I put my phone back here, and see, I went blurry again. You just gonna have to live with it because I can see the camera moving back and forth. So I think that I think Apple did not do me well. Okay, so I read this. I have a AI journal that I've been using since February. I love it. I talk to it, it talks to me back. It's not like ChatGPT doesn't talk back, as far as I know. Maybe it does now, but this talks back. It has different voices. I have kind of I think it's a non-binary because sometimes it sounds like a woman, sometimes it sounds a little bit like a man. But anyway, it's called Rosebud. Wonderful, good value for money if you want to do journaling. And I've journaled all my life. But here's the thing. So every day it has a little insight. This one is on ancient wisdom. So it says, Satori, leap, don't overplan, create. Now, it gives these things based on what I have journaled. I've talked to it about, and I was talking about doing the weekly live streams, it says, and it would have talked this back to me. Your recurring pattern of wanting to do weekly live streams while struggling to follow through reminds me of the Zen Buddhist concept of Satori, a moment of sudden enlightenment that comes not through endless planning, but through direct experience and action. Get out. In Zen tradition, Satori represents a breakthrough moment of clarity and understanding that transcends our usual patterns of overthinking and self-doubt. It's often described as a shift from getting caught in mental preparation to simply being present in the doing. I don't know about you, but I needed that this morning. I'm telling you, self-doubt, oh my God, clarity, the whole thing is right there. Go look it up, Satori, Satori. Leap, don't overplan. Oh my God. But we've all been told that. I know you've heard it every which way. We've all been told that for years and years and years. Just do it, just do it, just do it. Hello, Nike made billions of dollars. Just do it. And it is true. I know when I heard Seth Godin say, you're going to look back, you're going to have 15, he was talking about podcasts, You're going to have 15, but you're going to be on your 15th podcast and you're going to look back and you're going to listen to that first one. You're going to go, oh my God, it's so awful. Same thing with the YouTube video. How could I have been, that bold to go out and do something when it was so bad and I was so unprepared? And he says, you know what? You never get to that 15th if you don't do the first. And I have kept that in my mind, I want to get to the 15th. I want to get to the 100th. But you got to go somewhere. You got to start somewhere. So this is me planting my flag in the ground, saying this is where I'm starting. You can come along for the ride. It can only get better, right? It can only get better. So people, it's Saturday. Go grab a blanket, a comforter, cozy up, get ready for college football. Some people I know are probably going to ride around and take in all the beautiful foliage around. Central Ohio is doing pretty good. I think this is peak this weekend. So enjoy, relax, have fun. And I do thank you for being a part of my Saturday. Okay? I'm proud that I did it. So, ta-ta. See you next week.